I have to re-record something because I was not smart enough to make sure that I wouldn't screw up when it came to recording. Apparently, I forgot the footage for the tea party. I don't know, I guess I missed whatever I did for episode 7, so. Yeah. So the audio will definitely sound different. Things will definitely sound different because I recorded these earlier than the last time I did this, and some things have changed. And I don't know if my throat is prepared or prepped to read these lines because, well, yeah. When I came to, all was silent. The room was dimly lit. And yet, it was massive. Where on earth is this? I was sitting in what seemed to be a very short sofa. It was very constricting. It looked like there were several more of them off to each side of me. Once I noticed that, I realized I was in a theater. Where on earth am I? I don't know how long I've been here. More importantly, I don't know where this is. Beatrice's funeral ended. Everyone went back to the mansion and after that, my memory gets fuzzy and I can't recall anything else. Then I was surprised to notice the presence of another person. Apparently, I wasn't the only one sitting in the audience seating of this vast theater. And the sound had come from a seat to the side of mine. When I looked, I saw a girl sitting several seats off to my left. It was a face I'd never seen before. Who is she? She looked like a high schooler or a college student about the same age I was. She groaned. Apparently, she had just woken up. I didn't want to scare her, so I decided to introduce myself first. Hello? Apparently, she was equally surprised to find someone other than herself here. She jumped when she heard my greeting. Who the hell are you? I feel the same way. It seems that neither of us is here on our own accord. Is that the one-winged crest? Huh? Do you recognize this crest? She looked suspiciously at the one-winged crest emblazoned on my collar. Her stare, which was unmoving but not openly hostile, wasn't exactly pleasant for me. Allow me to introduce myself first. I am Ushiramiya Leon. Ushiramiya, huh? What? Leon. Written like this, but pronounced Leon. Pretty strange name, don't you think? No stranger than mine, but I'll have to apologize. I don't know who you are. That's hardly surprising, since I don't know you either. That's not what I meant. Who are you? There's no one like you in the Ushiramiya family. And why are you so sure? Do you have something to do with my family? I'm a member of the Ushiramiya family. But that's... She showed me her left sleeve and the crest of the one-winged eagle emblazoned upon it. I regret having to ask the same question, but who are you? I've never seen you in the Ushiramiya family. First they tear me into little bits, and they make me read. What's next? Which am I supposed to be entertaining this time? He spat out those words and seemed to be complaining about something. Angie. I'm Ushiramiya Angie. Rudolph and Curie's daughter. What? Angie? But you're supposed to be 6 years old. I was 6 during the year of the family conference on Rokenjima. Now I get it. So you're a person from the year 1986. I'm 18 years old, and I'm from the year 1998. In other words, you're the Angie of 12 years in the future? I'm glad you believe it, but unfortunately, I don't have a clue who you are. Who are you? We're your parents. My father is Kraus. Natsuhi's my mother. That would make you Jessica. Jessica's my little sister. What's going on? Wasn't Jessica an only child? By this point, I was starting to figure out the situation Angie had come from. He's probably from the world where I awaken as a witch. The world where Leon doesn't exist. It will be a little bit difficult to explain, but think of it this way. In a world slightly different from the one you know, I am also a member of the Ushiramiya family. In your world, a different fate leads me to walk a different path through life so that I do not live as an Ushiramiya family member. Are you a witch? Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm just an ordinary human. What I just told you is something I heard from a witch called Berncastle. Berncastle? That one with the long blue hair and that gloomy face? Yes. That probably fits her, I think. In other words, I'm forced to play along with another witch's farce. Where is this place? I only woke up a second ago myself. I'm wondering the same thing. It looks like a theater. Are we supposed to watch a play or something? I'm not really in the mood right now. Let's look for an exit. You haven't noticed yet? Look. Huh? These are... I finally noticed. Both of my wrists and ankles had chains attached to them. As long as I sat here, I had enough slack that I could move about a little, but it looked like there wouldn't be nearly enough for me to get out of this place. Why is it that Sayo is always in chains? You think about it, like, as a witch, here... When would do something like this? Once a witch has made you her piece, you'll be their plaything forever. There's no way to escape. And she crossed her legs, making the chains clink together. She realized no amount of struggling could have broken those chains. Getting panicky wouldn't accomplish anything. She must have had nerves of steel. What do you mean a witch is... It's like being their slave. I made a deal once. Said I wanted to see my family, to bring them back from that day. In exchange for making that a possibility, that witch turned me into a witch's piece. At least, the witch that kept her promise. I was able to see Oni-chan again. You mean Battler? Stuff. Well, I wasn't even able to tell him who I was, and in exchange for that short bit of time, I'm now trapped inside the witch's toy box for all eternity. Looks like you are too. Did you make some sort of contract? Nothing of the sort. Did you ever ask a witch to grant a wish for you? Never. She taught me that a miracle... Wait, never. Taught me what a miracle my existence is. That's all. Either way, neither of us is getting out of here. Okay, witches! What kind of show do you have for us this time? Have we moved from reading aloud to theater going? Am I supposed to watch someone else read out loud this time, or what? If that's it, then start it up already. I'm bored enough as it is! And she yelled this to the pitch-black stage. Her voice reverberated throughout the theater, but no one gave an answer. No, someone did. That was also in a voice that rang out across the theater. However, that voice sounded theatrical, as though someone was announcing the start of a play. on that day, you ask? I'm not telling. If only you just give up and die. Whose voice was that? That old hag. It was on Ava's voice. What does she mean by what happened on that day? It's talking about the 4th and 5th of October in the year 1986, the day of the final family conference in REQUIEM. In other words, today. Today is October 4th, 1986. As a prelude to the family conference, Beatrice's funeral was held. That's a surprise. But you've come here from October 4th, 1986. Tell me, what happened during those 2 days? The answer she seeks is inside the cat box. All I can tell her is about my close call with a sad life. However, I doubt that explanation will satisfy her. Then a pillar of bright light pierced the stage. There stood a white shadow. That white dress was obviously Claire's. Of course, Angie didn't recognize her. She looked suspicious, apparently wondering who in the world this was. However, even I felt as though something was wrong. Did she sell all of her regrets in that funeral a short while ago before being sent off into the next world? She stood all alone in the narrow beam of light in the center of the stage. The expression on her face was lifeless. The light began to grow brighter and brighter. It shone more and more fiercely on her, until it became blinding just to look at her. The world was enveloped by a light so bright that we couldn't open our eyes, surrounded by a sound like wind or television static, and our minds began to go blank. Woo! They're blooming wonderfully again this year! It must be a pain to take care of all these. Pretty easy, though, just looking at them. I agree. We've got to thank the people who take care of them for us. But it is a bit lacking in grace. I prefer the way it used to be before Nissan decided to pile so much on. The old look did have its own charm, didn't it? Whoa! This rose garden really takes me back! I totally forgot about these past 6 years. I guess it really has been that long. You and this garden have changed so much. Let me introduce you. This is Kano, one of our servants. This is the first time you've met Balor, right? Pleased to meet you. You can just call me Balor. Nice to meet you. Shadow's here too today. Remember when we used to play together? Ah, Shannon! I totally forgot! That really takes me back! How's she been doing? She's grown more and more beautiful these past 6 years. You should say hi to her later on. Shannon and George are really good friends! Ah! Nadia! Shh! That's a secret! If you would, everyone, allow me to guide you to the guest house. After enjoying the lovely welcome provided by the Rosas, the relatives followed Goda in the direction of the guest house. October 4th, 1986. REQUIEM. A world without Leo. On the day of the Ushirmiya family conference. Maria read a mysterious letter aloud after dinner, just as she had been told to. The writer of the letter claimed to be the Golden Witch Beatrice and challenged the family. Try and solve the riddle of the epitaph. Otherwise, I will take everything. It was Beatrice's announcement of the game's start, same as the usual games, and an unknown person appeared related to the problem of the inheritance distribution. Where was the 20 billion yen worth of gold hidden? What was the purpose of this letter? For what goal had it been written? Who on earth is this Beatrice? It was the usual dinner on October 4th, where several bits of suspicion and paranoia intertwined. George, I'm sorry, but could you go to the guest house with the others? My apologies. Shannon, take the children to the guest house. We will move straight on to the family conference. Yes, as you wish. Beatrice, the Golden Witch. What a fascinating letter you sent us. She's telling us to solve the epitaph. Ridiculous. That gold belongs to us. How would we ever give it up to some outsider? If we could just find that gold, we'd all be happy. No one would have to lose anything. Let's go, everyone. We'll be having an adult conversation from here on out. Sheesh. Sounds like it's gonna get complicated. Come on, Maria. Let's go. Banto ceremony has begun! Okay, everyone. I shall guide you to the guest house. What's all this about? Probably a replay of one of the old games, or else an entirely new game. In all the games, October 4th happens in pretty much the same way. A new game? You mean a tale that hasn't appeared in any of the fragments so far? There's no way they go to the trouble of chinning us down if they just wanted to show us a game we already know. It's probably a new game. That means there should be a game master. Who is it? Witch? Or Castle? I can't imagine so. They should have vanished already. There should be no need to spin up a new tale. Beatrice's Game Boy was hijacked by those evil witches long ago. Even Beatrice was nothing more than a piece in their games. Just who's behind this and what are they after? What do they want to show us? Before this tale began, Claire definitely appeared on the stage. She's the teller of the tale of Beatrice's games. Beatrice, the me from a world of a different tale. However, didn't she entrust everything to Will, who solved all the riddles? There should be no need for her to make new riddles. In that case, is Burnt Castle using this tale to test me? Along with Will, I have at least touched the deepest depths of this tale and understood the culprit's heart. So even if this is an entirely new tale presents itself, I should be able to see through the riddles. Is that what my role is? My role to teach Angie about the truth of this tale. Do you know? Do you know the truth of this tale? I have several theories, still none of those can give a conclusive answer. The truth is always inside the cat box. I can't say anything for sure. In this world, Angie is absent on this day, so it's only natural she doesn't know what happened. However, at the very least, I do know who the culprit is and what they were trying to do on this day. I think I finally understood my role in this. What do you mean? Apparently you're here as a theatergoer and I'm here as a commentator. Then as a commentator, what exactly is it that you're going to explain for me? After all, I know who's behind the crime that's about to occur. What did you say? Thinking about it straightforwardly, the only explanation I see is that someone's trying to make us solve the epitaph and hoping to snatch the gold for themselves. I agree. If they already solved it, they could just take it. There'd be no need to challenge us to solve the riddle. It's a prank by one of the servants. They must be hoping to pick up the scraps from the celebration if the gold is found. I cannot imagine that any of our servants would do such a thing. Or maybe one of us sent the letter pretending to be a servant. If that's it, you're the most suspicious one. You schooled Maria on her part and made her read the letter, didn't you? I wouldn't do that! Give it a rest, Ava. Can't jump to conclusions. Isn't this the time for us to all stick together? That's right. The aim of this strange letter is probably to disrupt our unity. The more we met... Let's try again. That's right. The aim of this strange letter is probably to disrupt our unity. The more we let it affect us, the more things will go to the way of this Beatrice who sent it. Okay, there we go. Kitty's right. Wouldn't it be best to simply ignore a letter like that from the start? That's what I've been saying this whole time. This sort of prank is not worth considering. Yes, that's it exactly. If a couple of improbable claims for damages get you flustered, you'll never be able to sell anything. My husband's right. This is a child's prank, and taking it seriously is just a waste of time. If someone really wanted to shake up the inheritance issue, they'd come forward boldly instead of using something this roundabout. You've got it right there. Someone probably wants to make us think there's another person trying to make demands about the inheritance, when their real goal is just to pick up the scraps. I wonder if they'll ask us for some hush money in exchange for staying out of the inheritance issue. If that were the case, they should have written it into the letter. And the letter is just a challenge, telling us to try to solving the epitaph or else hand over everything. The culprit's trying to make us solve the epitaph's riddle. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's simple. If we worry about this letter, we lose. Indeed, I agree. After that big mysterious show, like something out of a mystery novel, we've all gone a bit too wrapped up in this. It seems we're all taking this too seriously. But who did it? Such an aggravating thing to do. If it wasn't a servant, then one of us must have written it. I'm not naming names, of course. Stop it! I really don't know anything about this! Settle down. Anyway, what this letter says does make a bit of sense. All of us need money, and if possible, we need it right away. No one here has any objections to that, right? Of course not. Whether it's money or love, you can't never have too much. We don't know when Father's inheritance will come to us, however the goal of the epitaph is different. If we find it, we can just split it then and there. In a sense, it's even closer to us now than the inheritance is. Assume we can solve the epitaph. Everyone here has tried solving it on their own, yes. Yuri asked the room at large, and everyone wordlessly nodded back. Here we have 4 people who have inherited the blood of one who made the riddle, and each has tried solving it on their own. That doesn't sound very efficient, does it? True. We've all been greedy and tried to go it alone. However, we've already reached a decision about how we'll split the gold up if it's found, and about acknowledging Aniki as the successor. Although you demanded quite a lot in exchange. I wonder if we can solve the epitaph if we pull our efforts and work together. 2 heads are better than 1. And here, we have 7. Today we reached a general agreement about the inheritance problem. Why not take a shot at the epitaph for a bit of fun on the side? Nice idea! Let's give it a try and call it a break. Ridiculous. Of course there's no hidden gold. Take it easy. Just think of it as a game. Let's have Goda bring us something cool to drink. We can take a break and I'll play with riddles as a big happy bunch of siblings for once. Well, the night is long. But at least be a bit more productive than the pointless inquiries into Father's health. I'll ring up Goda. He can bring us something. Let's have tea and sweets. Oh, and a map of Taiwan. Remember episode 5 and the Aki fruit? That was a hint. Wait, that might not have been the fruit. I forgot. But it was like the spitting gum fruit or whatever. You get it, right? So yeah. 2 shadows could be seen in the Rose Garden Arbor. It was George and Shannon's secret meeting. I want you to take this ring. George, I swear to love you all my life. Not just now while we're young. I swear to love you and keep you happy until we grow old and go to our graves. And are there any lies or exaggerations in your words? No, not one. I'm confident in my resolve to love you and build a happy household together with you. And what would this happy household be like? Well, it would be full of happiness. I have a house with a car and a yard, and one dog, and the yard will have a vegetable garden, and the kids will run around and will smile down on them from the balcony. It's what our typical future Sunday will look like. That would be wonderful. What? Those two are going out? Shh! Why are you so damn loud? Mario will wake up. I see. So that's how it is. Now that you mention it, they seem to have a pretty good mood going on there. That's right, we're about the age where you fall in love. We've changed a lot in the past 6 years. George used to be a bit unreliable, but he isn't anymore. That's what I thought. George's got that air of dignity thing going. But still, Shannon and George, it's a bit unexpected. They played together often enough 6 years ago, but I didn't think they were that close. Well, 6 years is a long time. These 6 years have been huge for all of us. Yep. A lot's happened to me these 6 years, and to be honest, I've forgotten almost everything about Rokenjima. And I've forgotten almost everything about you, too. Now that really hurts. Talking together like this, it felt as though we've been teleported 6 years into the past. 6 long years. So long, I almost forgot everything. And yet it's coming back to me bit by bit. Shannon, 6 years ago, you were a part of our group, and we played together a lot, didn't we? Back then, I think I might have liked Shannon. It was the age where we were all overly self-conscious in love with love. Bittersweet memories of jokes involving melodramatic, flippant words. That takes me back. I think I remember saying all kinds of stuff that I'd be way too embarrassed to say now. Just remembering now is making my face go red. Xiao might be a scatterbrain, but her memory is incredible. Guess I'll have to ask her all about your dark and embarrassing history. Episode 3! Quit it! That was 6 years ago. The statute of limitations has gotta be up! I see. Shannon is going out with George. What am I thinking? Must be jealousy? I didn't really think about it until now, but that thing Shannon and I had back then is probably my first love. Well, it's not like I have any right to be jealous after forgetting the whole thing until we met again. Uh-oh. Everyone knows that Dad's hometown was Taisho in Taiwan. They still choose a Reconets from time to time in memory of that place. Oh, a Reconets. Sorry, I forgot. See, they corrected me. And they corrected my bumbled memory. Apparently he got hooked on that instead of smoking when he was young. But there must be several rivers there with sweet fish running in them. Blech. It has several mountain streams that are famous sweet fishing spots. Anyway, you could probably find sweet fish living anywhere the water has cleaned. We're completely stuck. Maybe it was just some nearby creek Father played in as a kid. He said sweet fish, but maybe we're looking for something more like carp. Or it could be some sort of metaphor. The river isn't necessarily a river with water running through it. What do you mean by that? Well now, who knows? Yuri has a point there. Isn't it a bit too early to be sure that Taiwan is this homeland, or that this Sweetfish River is a river with water flowing down it? If we look at it that way, we're just stuck again. The more you think about this riddle, the harder it gets. That's it. This is just a riddle. Kiria is right. We need to be flexible in our thinking.
If we're looking for a river near Taisho, that'd have to be near the Danshui River.
Are you even listening? We just said that it might not even be any kind of river with water flowing down it. Is there any proof that this river is a sweet fish river?
You're right. I'm sorry.
Well, it probably did have sweet fish in it. After all, Danshui does mean fresh water. Makes sense that a freshwater fish like sweet fish be swimming in it. Sweet fish are freshwater fish. So a sweet fish river would be a freshwater river. Is that how we get Danshui River? Quite the word game. Now that's an interesting theory. Let's advance our reasoning a bit further. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. What's the name of the town, the mouth of Danshui River? It says Danshui here. I went sightseeing in Danshui. It was a calm and gentle harbor town. Beautiful sunsets. Did you find the shore the two will tell you of? Not really. Doesn't really ring any bells.
I guess the beloved hometown wasn't in Taiwan. It might have been Odawara after all.
If we can't discount any possibilities, then we won't get anywhere. We can't even get past the first line of the epitaph. Quiet! You're distracting me. It has to be Taiwan. Father wouldn't describe any other place as beloved.
That is one thing that we can agree upon. To this very day, Taiwan is the homeland of Father's heart. It's probably best if we don't spend too much time on the first line. I'm going to take a look at the others. Just a quick peek, starting at the first twilight.
Me too. I'll leave the Sweet Fish River to you, Aneki, and have a go at the second half.
On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifice. How mysterious.
I've got it, Eva suddenly muttered. All the others spun around to look at her. Ava was flipping through the pages about Taiwan with incredible force. Found the page she was looking for and slammed the book open so hard that it almost tore. This whole time the book had been open to the page with a place of names. As far as the overall mass of information went, this seemed to be the most useful page to start from. However, the page Ava opened to was very limited in the scope of this information. It was a map of railway lines. As you travel down the river, there is a village. A village! There it is, the village! What are you talking about, Ava? Explain yourself! Quiet! There's a shore too, and a mouth. I'm not sure what it means by the two, but there definitely is a village, and a shore, and a mouth. This has to be it. This is definitely the village where the key to the gold sleeps.
Calm down! Explain so we can understand too!
The Danshui line. I see. The Sweetfish River was actually a railroad called the Danshui line. Well, I doubt there are any sweet fish swimming there. Look! If we follow the Danshui line down there's a station that used to be known as Kiriga. Look at the characters it's written in. See? Village, mouth, and then shore there. There's a village, a mouth, and a shore. She's right. There's a village, mouth, and shore. As you travel down the river, you will see a village. True. That's the only station on the Danshui line that has the character for village in its name. I see, so it's like a code pointing toward the station's name. This has to be it. There's no doubt. We just need to look a bit further, and we'll definitely find the two who speak me. Look! This is it! This is it! The region around the station has the same name except with the mouth of the second character. That makes a total of 2 mouths in Kiriga. Yeah, see? Little mouth. Little mouth. Like, Chinese characters are written in like some particles and you combine them together. This is the character for mouth and you combine them with other things. And that's how you can easily read it. And see here with shore, I think. You see that? That's the character for mountain. So yeah. Just a little fun thing. I know a little bit of Chinese, but barely. Not enough to be literate, so don't ask me more. Are those the two who speak?
Incredible, Nason. This has to be it!
Does this mean that the key is hidden somewhere in this town of Kirigan? I wonder. The whole riddle so far has been a word game. If so, isn't it likely that the sleeping key is also a word game? I agree. On the first try, the key selects 6 sacrifices right. So it's hard to imagine there's actually something key-shaped. Ooh, this is getting damn interesting. Offer up the 6 chosen by the key. Let's think of it as a key that's somehow related to this. And let's break down this name, Kirigan. I'm absolutely sure that this is a word game. It has to be. Think, everyone!
That's interesting. Though this rain would get me down if it were alone, it feels nice and cool when you're by my side. It's about time for us to head back. I'm keeping Kana waiting.
You're right.
And I've probably kept Jessica and Balor waiting. Brings back good memories. Remember when the 4 of us used to play together? It was a lot of fun back then too.
Me, it's a lot more fun now. Because I get you all to myself.
Oh, George.
They laughed at George's melodramatic line. However, George's laugh seemed to be slightly forced.
George?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I guess I still have a bit of an inferiority complex when it comes to Battler.
An inferiority complex?
Like Uncle Rudolph, he's lively, interesting, and just full of energy. Much more attractive than I am. I can tell just how much he outshines me when we're together.
That's not true. You're very accomplished and attractive. You aren't worse than Balor in any way.
Really?
Yes. Really.
The truth is, when I first heard that Balor would be coming back this year, I wasn't happy about it.
Why not?
6 years ago, Balor was the one who was really close to you. I wanted to get closer to you, but I just couldn't manage to get between the two of you. You two just looked so good together. Could do nothing but watch on longingly.
Is that how it was? Wasn't it just Balor making fun of me one-sidedly?
Of course you look incredibly good together. There's no doubt about that. I was sure that you two were going out.
That never happened. You're overthinking it.
I really am pathetic. I was afraid that when I handed you this ring today, you'd refuse.
Why is that? Why should I refuse your ring, George?
Because Battler came back. I was afraid that you might like Battler even now. That now that he's here, you wouldn't have any use for me.
George, please look at this. You see this silver glint on my ring finger? What do you think that is?
You're right. Sorry. It's got me so shaken, I wonder. I'm probably still jealous of him, now that he's gotten even cooler these past 6 years. How pathetic.
No, it's okay. Those feelings are a sign that your love for me is so strong, you don't want to give me up to anyone. If you're worried about my feelings switching to Balor, just love me all the stronger so that such a thing would be unthinkable. Love me so much that I don't have time to think about other men. I'm scared too. I'm sure you'll meet many women in the future who are much more attractive than me. Or you might tire of me when I don't match up to your expectations. It scares me to think that I might not be able to grasp hold of your feelings for the rest of my life.
There's no need for you to be scared of that.
I swear to love you all my life. But even though I swear the same thing, you're having trouble believing it just because Balor came back. As Shannon giggled, George finally realized that his own lack of confidence had hurt her. I've fallen for a wonderful man named Ushiramiya George, and this is a man who's sworn to love me all his life, who's given me a ring as a sign of this oath. With this ring here on my ring finger, I can give an honest confession.
Sure.
Yes, as you said, I did like Balor 6 years ago. I think I probably liked him more than you. However, that was 6 years ago. Now things are different. In these 6 years, I sorted out my feelings for Balor and cut myself off from them along with my memories of the past. Now I only exist to love you.
Shannon spoke clearly and strongly. George gave a single uncertain laugh. It was probably the same sort of laugh that George of 6 years ago had made. Then he stretched resolutely and hugged Shannon without saying a word. In that moment he said goodbye to the person he had been 6 years ago. But if that was true, why does Umineko no Naku Koroni exist, huh? Because it's not true. She still loves Balor.